Thank you for coming and making it a point to join us live. That makes it a lot more fun for both Brad and I to answer questions that are actually relevant to what you guys are going through. So I really appreciate it. We are recording this video for you guys, so you can watch it on the replay if you have to skip out halfway through or whatever. But I hope everyone can see Brad. He has the other black shirt that looks like mine. Brad is the owner and creator of Hemp Paste. He's also a multifaceted entrepreneur, writer, musician, just artist, very creative person in general. And he is a huge advocate for helping people choose the natural route and finding remedies that will help them outside of the pharmaceutical world.
There you go.
So today, these are the topics that we'll go over. Brad and I will go over not in super deep detail, but we'll give you kind of the verbiage that you'll need that you can copy and regurgitate to your customers, because that's pretty much the point of this, is to help you feel confident and comfortable talking about the product, how it affects your body, what kind of things it helps, what we can and cannot say, just legally speaking, and then common customer questions. We just want to equip you with the tools for you to be successful. So Brad and I will bounce back and forth, and then at the end we will leave time for questions from you guys. So
Hey, one thing, everybody, some of this stuff you already know, but what we're trying to do here is not only to educate you, but to also to give you tools to tell other people. So it starts with us, and then it goes to you, and then it goes from you to everybody else. So what we're trying to do again is just get the information as clean and accurate as possible, and simple and effective, and then and spread it. So that's our main goal.
I talk to your customers all the time, all day long. And the biggest thing that brand new people to this industry, the thing that they want to talk about, is hemp marijuana, or how are they different? And the best way that we can describe that is in this diagram here. Both the hemp plant and the marijuana plant come from cannabis sativa plant species. Cannabis sativa is a plant species, and it can make both hemp and marijuana. The biggest difference between the two is that hemp has less than 0.3% THC, and marijuana has a range of different percentages of the THC. Hemp is federally legal across all 50 states, and marijuana is controlled, not legal on all 50 states. Hemp will not get you high. It's a non-psychoactive plant. Marijuana will. And Brad, I think you were going to talk about how that happens, because if it comes from the same plant, how could one have 0.3%, and how can the other one have higher percentages?
It's real simple. It's just genetics. It's like if you have a brother or a sister, you're the crazy one and they're not, or the opposite. And so it's the same mom and dad. It's just one came out with red hair and one didn't. It's just and so what we do as growers, I'm not so much in the growing thing anymore, but what we do is they're called stable seeds. And so the more stable they are, the more your whole entire crop is going to be in those right numbers. So that way, when the state comes out and inspects the farm, we're under 0.3, we're good to harvest. And then Shazam, everything is going great.
Okay, perfect. So this is Brad's bread and butter. He loves talking about this. Why is hemp paste superior to CBD oil? And he actually created this really awesome article that I would be happy to send to all of you after this meeting. It's chock full of, if I can click on it, of details about how hemp paste is better than CBD oil. And I know a lot of you have watched the videos or seen the extraction methods, all that kind of stuff. But this article goes into even more detail than that video does and gives you more examples. Brad, take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Sheila. So can you make that a little bit bigger if it's possible? Thank you.
That better?
There you go. Yeah, that's great. Anyways, so I'm not going to go into the full details of this because you can read it and some of you already know this information, but I would like to emphasize that it took me 9 years to write this. And it's not like it took me 9 years. literally, but over time I kept adding to it. And if you kind of, Sheila, just kind of scroll down slowly and take a look, it's not really huge. Keep going and just keep going that speed. Thank you so much. And you can see there's a bunch of topics here, from everything from mold to drying to the endocannabinoid system to the damage that's done to the process of CBD oil. There is this here. Stop on this one. I want to give you an idea, everyone that's listening, how powerful hemp paste is, and how logical it is, and how I forgive my directness, how stupid the whole industry went down a rabbit hole. And I'm going to give you this right here. This is a 32-ounce bottle of it's a processed hemp into terpenes. They extract the terpenes. So what does that mean? It means that hemp needs, the medicine needs these terpenes. They're very, very, very important. $17,000, very important. And so what does that tell us? It tells us that why would they make terpenes to reintroduce it into the product? That means why? It means obviously it's damaged when they do extraction, and they have never gotten around this problem. So there's the way they extract the oil with CO2, butane, ethanol, or alcohol. They're destroying 80% up to almost 100% of the terpenes. CO2 is the worst, but it's the cleanest. So the most common is CO2, but it's the worst on damage. So if you take hemp paste, there's no damage done. It's the whole buds just put into a jar and canned like grandma's jam. So,
well, one thing about terpenes that we need to understand is they're not just from the hemp
fragrance.
plants. They're fragrance, but they can be derived from many other types of plants. Aren't they mostly citrus plants, Brad?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go on your own rabbit hole search and you search for terpenes, you might get confused if you don't understand that first, because they don't all just come from hemp. However, the products that extract just CBD oil or CBD from the plant, even if they say full spectrum, you have to understand that it's kind of like enriched flour, where they strip everything out and then they have to add some things back in. And what Brad's kind of trying to say is that there's just it's not logical. Don't do that.
It's really, I again, forgive my terminology. It's just stupid. It's just like, why did we do this? I mean, the people that are listening, we can go God or Mother Nature, whatever you believe, it's up to you. But it's so logical that if there's a God and he created this plant, then it's perfect, because the human body is amazing, and all this information that we have in science now just points to that natural is better, and every single compound works together. There's an entourage effect. The terpenes are critical. They found out that terpenes have a huge, obviously they've got to be important to put a $17,000 price tag. Not all terpenes are this expensive. You can find ones that are just different processes and different things.
If you could talk about this, this is a really powerful piece, the $100,000 hemp cook-off, because that really shows you how serious we are about why hemp paste is better than CBD oil. Brad, can you explain what the reasoning is behind this?
Yes. Okay. So 2012, 2013, when I was on this forum and Facebook, it was just blowing up. Everybody's like going, wow, it was the whole big blow up. There were people out there that were saying paste is a waste. That's a joke. You got to extract it. You can't have chlorophyll. You can't do all these things in it. And well, I was vindicated as time went by. But through that process, I had a lot of not very kind people that were trying to destroy the whole thought of natural is better. And so what I did was I said, hey, let's do a cook-off. And so I did a press release back in 2015, I think it was, and I released it, and it was went through a newswire, and I said, hey, anybody wants to do a $50,000, it was $50,000 back then. Anybody wants to put money on the table and do a cook-off with me? And what it did is it made people start to think. When you do extraction, you obviously destroy, you obviously can't pull everything out of the plant. And what this challenge did is it made people think. And nobody to this day, we've been like shouting it out. Nobody to this day has ever challenged us because when you have the whole plant right there and you have something that's extracted, there anybody with a brain can see that the whole plant has everything, and that's the way that God, Mother Nature created it, and it has the full entourage effect, and it is so much more powerful. And this just kind of gets rid of the purpose of this article, gets rid of the or this challenge, gets rid of the people that are trying to like debunk us or try to, because this is very threatening. Hemp paste is threatening the whole CBD oil industry, because if you look at this document, there are like 9 major game changers here. And just one of those game changers wipes out CBD oil. I know that's a very enthusiastic, very possibly arrogant statement, but I've been doing this too long, and it's my thinking is I'm excited. I want to share the information. It's not about being arrogant or saying ours is the best. This is just flat out science and logic. And so just to close that statement, again, nobody will challenge us because they know they would lose their money. Sheila?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That has challenged people's thinking, I would say. That gives you, if
Yes.
you as a distributor want to talk about this and say, the creator of hemp paste, which I represent, is willing to challenge you to $100,000 to see whose product is better, go for it. Like that gives you as a distributor credibility and confidence in this product as well. So you can come at it however you want. Again, we're just giving you the tools, things that you can put in your arsenal to win customers and help people ultimately. So
yes, I want to jump on that. Great point, Sheila. See, everybody that's listening has a different personality, and you're dealing with different personalities. So you might be the real soft-spoken and very simple person, which is beautiful. Then you can just use one of the simple things. Well, there's no environmental footprint. There's no machines. There's no wasted energy drying this stuff. So there's different angles. But if you have somebody that's just like a real bulldog, kind of like my personality, I'm kind of all over the place, and you have somebody that's like, well, and you get into this heavy debates to say, hey, put your money on the table. And let's do a cannabis cook-off. So again, all these tools are really, there's a wide range of tools that you can pull out of this according to your personality or the person you're dealing with or talking with.
perfect. You said that wonderfully.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, kind of piggybacking off that topic, since we didn't dive too far deep into the hemp paste versus CBD oil discussion, because I hope all of you have seen the video that Brad made for that discussion. Please read the article when we're done because it is really, really interesting. But just as a highlight, there are over 500 different compounds in the hemp plant. So in our hemp paste, there are 500 different compounds. We have all of them. We don't take anything from the plant. Nothing is lost as we decarboxylate it. It has all of the flavonoids, terpenes, and phytocannabinoids that were originally in the plant. That being said, all of these things are really critical to creating the entourage effect. Your understanding of what the entourage effect truly is going to be critical when you're talking to people who have maybe tried a full spectrum CBD oil. Because like we talked about before, full spectrum may mean that they're taking things out and then adding them back in. And it's not truly full spectrum because it will not give you the entourage effect. And a lot of CBD oils claim that it will. This is where I want Brad to tell the blueberry story. It's a great analogy for this. So Brad, please tell the blueberry story.
You're awesome. Thank you. Well, I had a customer about, I think 8 months ago, call me up and say, Brad, I never told you about this, but my husband, he works for Big Pharma and went on to tell me about all the millions and millions of dollars and the massive energy that they put into the blueberry story. And what that is they found out that blueberries greatly help with Alzheimer's and dementia. And I'm sure some of you guys are going, yeah, I've heard of that. So what she told me is her husband's company spent so much time trying to get every single compound that the blueberry had. And if you think about the logic, it just seems so funny. Why don't you just eat a blueberry? You know, because they couldn't get it to work. They spent all these millions of dollars and it was a failure. To this day, they cannot get it to work. But yet, this is the funny part. She goes, yeah, everybody's eating blueberries at the company all day long. I mean, you see them everywhere because everybody knows how powerful that is. But here is the punchline to the story. Hemp paste is the whole entire plant. It's not stripped, chemically processed. It's the way that God and Mother Nature created it. So therefore, it's the blueberry story. It's a perfect comparison that why do we have to why do we think like pharmaceutical people? In fact, let me give you a thought on that. The whole industry followed Rick Simpson. You ask me about that later, who he is and all that. But basically, this guy extracted it. And then everybody says, hey, well, I guess this needs to be extracted. Well, everybody thought, the oil is useless unless you extract it, which has to be one of the wrongest answers. So what happened was everybody wanted to think like pharmaceutical people. They're like, hey, how can I package this and make it like, well, mine has this and it's been extracted this way. And then all these different things of thinking like a pharmaceutical person. See, that's the problem is why do we have to think like a pharmaceutical person? We know that Mother Nature is more effective. And so that's basically why hemp paste was made.
Also, in that same line of thought, Brad, could you talk about potency as we talk about thinking like the pharmaceutical industry?
Yes. You know what was funny is you guys are going to run into people that go, forgive my angle here, but whoa, dude, man, you gotta take this product here because it's like 99% pure. You know, what's funny about that is the more you extract it, the more you concentrate it, the more you damage everything. All the terpenes are gone always when you get to a highly concentrated product. Again, the more you concentrate it, the more you damage it. And it's as simple as that. Oh, and potency. Think of vitamin C. You have two 500s over here and 1,000 milligram over here. Neither of them are better. They're the same. It's 1,000 milligrams. And so it's same with hemp or CBD. You just take more of it if you need it, not concentrated, but you just take more of it.
Right. Later, that will play into some of our commonly asked questions. That's why I wanted you to bring it up really quick while we were on the subject.
Sure.
How does hemp paste help the body? First, to understand how it helps the body, if you guys are on our Facebook group, you'll see that some of these graphics I show you in this training, I did post to Facebook, and you are welcome to download them. They're also in your back office if you're not on Facebook in the marketing portal. So you can download these and look at them at your own time, because we are not going to dive completely into reading the whole thing. However, it is important to do an overview. So the first thing you need to understand about how hemp can help your body is understanding your endocannabinoid system and what cannabinoids are. I say that word differently every time I say it.
Me too.
So your endocannabinoid system is one of your bodily systems that's in charge of regulating your neurotransmitters. And I have notes in front of me so I don't forget to say something, but it is in charge of regulating your neurotransmitters in your central and your peripheral nervous system. And please go on your own and research what your central nervous system and your peripheral nervous system do and what they're in charge of, because they are literally throughout your whole body. And if you can understand those two systems, then you can understand how incredible it is that we have this product to help people, because there's a reason why people are speculating that CBD oil is snake oil, because there are all these claims that say it can help this, it can help this, it can help this, it can help this. It's basically it can help everything. And people are like, well, there's no way that one thing can help everything. And then they take the CBD oil and they don't feel the difference. So they say, oh, well, it doesn't work. It's just snake oil. Well, the key thing that they're missing is everything that Brad's been talking about. The hemp plant can help a whole host of bodily ailments. It can help so many different things internally, externally, neurologically. It really, if I were to sit down and list out all the things that I've had customers say to me that it's helped, the list would be 20 pages front and back. Like, it's insane. That's really, really cool, but it turns out to be sounding too good to be true unless you have the confidence in what you're talking about. So if you're not confident in knowing what the endocannabinoid system is, how cannabinoids affect your endocannabinoid system, then you may lose your audience pretty quickly. So first, understanding what the endocannabinoid system is. Brad, did you have something?
Oh yeah, I wanted to say one piggyback on that. Sheila said about your confidence. There's two aspects to this topic here. One is the deep knowledge, the science, okay, and then there's the logic side, which is the most easiest that I find, and that would be a statement like this. Well, everybody knows that CBD oil is $1 billion business. Why is that? And logically, because it's really helping people. It doesn't help everybody, but actually it does. But that's another conversation. So if it's $1 billion business and it's helping all these people, why? Well, it's because it's the #1 anti-inflammatory product on planet Earth. #1 anti-inflammatory. So what that means is all these diseases that Sheila was listing off and 500 more are related to inflammation. And because this is super duper anti-inflammatory, that is why it's helping so many people. So that's a powerful angle that you can use instead of like trying to sit them down and go through the whole neurological, all that stuff like that.
But Brad, some people's brains do think differently. So we're
I
good.
know, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Because it's true. Some people don't care about the science behind it. But what I'm trying to get at is that sometimes it'll aid in your confidence knowing that you know what you're talking about if you spend the time to research it and not just
Yep.
piggyback off of everybody else's testimonials thinking, oh yeah, I saw Susie whatever was helped with this. Or, you know, if you just stay at that surface level, nobody's going to consistently come to you as a thought leader in the industry, as an expert in your field. They're not going to come to you when they are feeling funky and feel like something's wrong, and they're not going to think of you to be the answer to their problem. And so when you are confident in that and people can trust in what you're saying, we have a couple people on here as distributors, even brand new distributors, who they have a network of people that will 100% follow wherever they lead. That's a very powerful thing. If you can, as a distributor or a leader in your network, say, hey, you should take this supplement because I heard it is going to help you. And you don't even have to go into detail about how it will help you. They just already know you enough to know that whatever you say is truth and important, and they're just going to follow wherever you tell them to go. I'm not saying I want everyone to be sheep. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that hopefully you understand education is power.
Yes.
Brad,
your testimony is power too. Yep.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a second, but back to the science just for a second. Your endocannabinoid system, we talked about that. Your body actually creates 2 endocannabinoids, or they're cannabinoids that are called endocannabinoids when your body creates them. And that's the AEA and 2AG endocannabinoids. And sometimes your body doesn't produce enough, or it's having a hard time regulating. And that's where the phytocannabinoids come in, which you find in hemp. We'll look through some of the most popular ones here. So all of you have heard of probably a lot of these, but just to give you a little bit of an overview, there are over 118 phytocannabinoids in hemp, and all of them play a role. All of them are important. We don't recommend taking any of them out and using them on their own. Again, going back to the entourage effect, they all work together to create the entourage effect and to give you the most out of the product. So as you can see on the right here, these are all psychoactive cannabinoids. And then on the left are non-psychoactive cannabinoids. And the really interesting thing that a lot of people don't understand, and why this product is being demonized a lot, is that, you know, well, THC gets you high and I don't want to be high, so I'm not going to use that. I have to have CBD oil extracted, so there's 0% THC. What they don't understand is that CBD, the cannabinoid CBD, helps balance out the psychoactive properties of THC. So even if there's THC in the product, there's still no chance you're getting high, because our product has more CBD than it does THC. That's something that if you have customers who are worried about that, tell them THC is actually another cannabinoid, just like CBD, that is very helpful to the human body. If we want to zoom in here to see some of the things that it does, it's a muscle relaxant. It relieves spasms. It increases appetite, which can be important for some people with certain diseases. It's a pain reliever. It reduces nausea. Those are very powerful things that a natural remedy can bring to the table. But then compound that with all of these other cannabinoids and everything else that it can do. This one, CBC, antibacterial, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, bone stimulant. Knowing that all of them are important also gives you another layer of understanding and confidence when you're talking to people about all the things that it helps. Because again, we can go on that list of, we don't want this to be snake oil. We don't want people to think it's a cure-all, or it's a fake cure-all, I should say. It's not too good to be true. There's science backed behind all of these statements. So again, these are only 6 of the 118 cannabinoids. I would recommend for your specific set of people. Some of you have a very wide range of people that you're going to be talking to. Some of you have a very niche market. And depending on who you are, if you have a niche market, I would go in and do some research about, okay, my main group of people are struggling with arthritis, or they're worried about Alzheimer's, dementia, or they're really worried about COVID or other viruses, or their immune system in general. Figure out what that common thread is within your group of people, and do a deep dive on that specific area of cannabis research, because there is a lot of research out there, and we do the research too, and that's why we do these live trainings, but we cannot cover everything, and we'll lose a lot of people if we start talking somebody else's language that this other group of people aren't interested in. So please take control of your business and do some of the research so that you can help your group better. Brad,
Excellent.
did you want to add
Yeah, I have a small comment. So one of the things, again, is people always call and say, hey, the THC, am I going to fail a test? All that. I know we're going to talk about that later, but let me jump back and let me jump into just a point that's related to this. Is the THC, again, is a fraction. It's like a trace mineral. So let's look at THC just for a second. If we were to take pure THC and look at the benefits of it, we'd all go, oh, that's nice, but I don't care. I do not want THC. Capiche? Okay. Well, keep that. That's okay. Keep that over here, right here for a second. Okay. The purpose is not for it, what THC does for you. The purpose is how it reacts. It's a reactant. It creates an entourage effect. Even though it's so minute, it's in itself, it really doesn't do those things you see in the picture here by itself. But as a reactant in the entourage effect, the synergistic results, it's critical in the whole picture of the medicine. Again, we're not looking at THC on its own. We're looking at it as a reactant, which is non-hallucinogenic because it's federally regulated. It's all under 0.3. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share. Don't think, oh, yeah, that's not good. I can't really sell that to other people. I'm not going to tell them about it. I don't want them to know about it. Well, that just kind of call us. Maybe we'll do a full session on that sometime.
Well, it just depends on feedback. If people are interested, then we will for sure. We do these trainings based on what we hear from you guys.
Okay, great.
And we'll make a training.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so this next one goes into what Brad was saying earlier about all the things that it can help. This graphic is just a very easy, simple way to show people what the endocannabinoid system is a part of, what it regulates, and then also how hemp can help it based on the graphic I showed you earlier, just a second ago. So it can help your brain, eyes, heart, stomach, intestines, bones. This is all one half of things. And then there's also things like your immune system, your hormones, all of that kind of stuff too. So you're welcome to use this graphic wherever. Again, it's in your marketing portal. So just be aware of some of these, read through some of the things that it helps. All righty. So we want to talk to you about things that you can't say. This is kind of a negative way to bring it up, but to prepare you for talking to customers, or to prepare you for posting things in public spaces, having written marketing materials printed out, all of that kind of thing. You need to know what legally you cannot say. And then also we just want to give you the verbiage for what you can say. So hemp paste cures COVID. It's true. There has been lots of research recently saying that the cannabinoids in hemp can help bind with the spike proteins of the virus to prevent the virus from overtaking your body. And then on the flip side of things, hemp has been known to calm the cytokine storm that also makes the virus worse. So on both sides, the preventative and the symptomatic side of COVID or whatever virus infection you have, hemp paste has been shown to help with that. However, we cannot say it cures COVID. We can't say that it heals COVID. You can point to the research from peer-reviewed science and testimonials from other hemp paste customers, and you can lead your customer to the conclusion, but you can't put on any publicly available posted thing, whether it's printed in person, a poster, online, anything like that, that our product cures anything. That's where the testimonials, why they're so important and why we're trying to grow our testimonial page so much. And then also, like, you guys as distributors will start hearing stories from your customers, and you can start saying, that's when you can say, oh yeah, my friend had a lesion on, I got this story yesterday. My friend had a lesion from diabetes on their leg. And after, the doctor was getting to the point of amputation, and the distributor was like, no, let me help you heal this. And he put hemp cream on the guy's leg for 3 months, several times a day. And the injury, or whatever you want to call it, it was completely gone. So those are the
Wow.
types of stories that you can tell, and they're very powerful, but we're not saying it cures diabetes or it keeps you from getting your leg amputated. That part you could actually say. But if it's basically the guideline is, if there's a nationally known word for the disease, multiple sclerosis, diabetes, arthritis, anything that has a medical name, we can't say we can heal that or we can cure that. We can say chronic pain, inflammation. A lot of things stem from inflammation, and of course hemp is known for that. We just have to relate that into inflammation causes headaches and migraines and arthritis pain and all this kind of stuff. You can claim those types of things. Okay, so the next one is, you can't say statements like, I decided to create this paste, or when I created this paste, when I create this paste, you cannot claim ownership to be the creator of hemp paste. Mr. Brad Morehouse is the creator. It's his intellectual property, which also protects you as a distributor. You're part of our team. So you're protected under that intellectual property to know that nobody else has the right to take another product to the market and promote it as this new groundbreaking product that does the same thing as hemp paste.
Yes. And let me give you the good news. We have this brochure that we've been handing out for like 6 years, 7 years now. So it has all this descriptions and difference and comparisons and all that. So that's really powerful intellectual property to protect you guys, so that you guys have something that nobody else has. And yep, go ahead.
So all of you probably have seen this before, because we ship it with almost every order. So
Yes.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. No, thank you. That's the one.
Perfect. Cool. So then the next thing is, we want to refrain from using the terminology hand in hand, hemp paste and CBD oil. They're not the same thing, as we've spent most of this time discussing. What we would rather you do is focus on the fact that hemp paste is replacing CBD oil. And Brad, go for it on this one.
Well, we have different ways of angles. Like I said earlier, you can be really a bullhead or aggressive like me, or you can be very casual and light about it. There's different ways to angle this, but you can say displacing. It looks like it's going to overtake, stuff like that. Because if you walk into an example of some kind of store and they sell CBD oil, and you say, hey, you got to check out this new CBD product, they're just going shut you out, because there's so many CBD products out there. I don't have to tell you that. But when you say, did you know that CBD oil is being replaced by hemp paste, or something like that, something to capture their attention, that is very effective. And the other angle to this point is, we want to protect our trademarks. So we have like 30 different sayings, like the world's number one or only, or different things like the whole hemp plant. We have all different kinds of trademarks on that. So you guys don't have this on your website, some of you. So we need to get your logo up there. We need to get your trademark up there that we own. And that way we can all kind of work together and build that brand even more.
This is a reminder. You do have customization access to your websites, especially the front end, like the homepage, where the slider images are. If you want to change those slider images out, design something, I can give you the size specs that we need. Email them to me and I can get them changed for you. Also, if you want to add a logo on your homepage instead of having the HP logo, Hemp Paste logo, then we can do that as well. So you just have to let me know and provide that to me and I can get it changed for you.
And we recommend keeping the HP logo, but without hemp paste. So it can be like your company name, like Texas Hemp Paste with the logo, whatever the website it is.
Right. Okay. So now on to some of the most frequently asked questions that Sheila gets from your customers. So the first one, will this show up on a drug test? A lot of people are apprehensive about all products in regards to hemp because they're worried about their job or whatever it is. So we have provided for you guys an employment letter that's pre-written. You can download it. It's in your back office, which I'll actually show you right now. Where's my mouse? Here it is. So this is member.hemppaste.com/DC. You don't have to put the login part. It'll just automatically do that. I'll just log in really quick on my account. And then over here on the left in the gray area, it says documents. In this section, you have the business owner agreement, shipping and refund policy, and your drug test letter to employers. And you can download that and look at it. And it just says basically, to whom it may concern, it's in my voice. So I am the director of Hemp Paste. This is a product. This is what Hemp Paste is. This is what it helps with. We're not a medical company, but our product will also not get your employee high. If you are drug testing your employees, please choose a drug test that will be getting analyzed through the HPLC system, because that will differentiate between grouping the drug as marijuana and saying, yes, you're just positive for marijuana. And instead it'll group it. This is the percentage of THC. This is the percentage of CBD. So did you have anything to add to that, Brad?
No, you nailed it. Great.
Okay, cool. Also, we just advise everyone, be upfront with your employer about any supplement that you're taking or any medication that you're taking that may fail a test. Just being upfront even before a drug test is spoken about. I advise that customers who are taking it, who are worried about this specific question, I tell them, go tell your employer today, the day you start taking it, I am taking the supplement in hopes that it will help me do this. And because it helps me do this, I am a better employee for it. If you have a problem, then I will, cease taking it or whatever. Like, I don't want to get fired from my job. Just encourage them to have an open conversation about it. But I do want to say a regular urine drug test without the HPLC thing that I was talking about, it only detects THC above 50 milligrams per milliliter, which would mean you're taking over more than 2,000 milligrams of paste on a regular basis. So
of CBD.
Of CBD. Yes, I'm sorry. You're right. Of CBD. So, and that's taking into account the 0.3% THC in the product. So it is actually very unlikely that you'll test positive for it. But some people who are fighting really big diseases and take a whole lot of hemp paste, or they've been taking it for a lot of years and it's built up in their system, they may test positive. But we had, I don't know if he's on, but one of our distributors last time we were on was saying that he just did a test himself out of curiosity that said, or that he took 500 milligrams of hemp paste for 5 days straight. So 500 one day, 500 the next day. And he did a drug test and he did not fail it. So
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always an outlier. You never really know. So it's always good to have honesty as the best policy and just open communication with whoever's administering the drug test. The second most common question for people who have never been encountered with CBD oil products or hemp paste or anything like that, will it get me high? No, bottom line. I mean, you can, if you want to, you can go into the whole THC thing that we talked about at the very beginning, why hemp is different than marijuana, but it's
a stimulator. It's a neurological stimulator. And so that's what it does. It's kind of a little bit like a caffeine, but again, it's not altering. So don't ever go down that road of worry. It's just basically you can regulate. Like if you take a whole bunch of it, it'll either do two things. One, it can help you sleep, or it can help you be creative, or it will obviously you're taking it for the pain or whatever it is. Just depends on why you're taking it. But play around with your dose, because that is the key right there. The dosage has so many different ways of effects or results, you could say.
So with dosing, some people are afraid to take too much because they are afraid they're going to get high from it. And that's kind of the whole point of this conversation, is that if you don't take enough hemp paste, you may not feel a difference and you may think it's not working. So it's better to
Yes.
take a little bit more than you think you need. I had somebody email me today that said, hey, I'm taking the maximum dose of hemp paste in the morning. Is it okay if I take more at night, or should I take the can of sleep? Am I going to overdose? All this stuff. Bottom line, you're not going to overdose. What is the maximum dose? That's relative. You need to understand the dosing for your people too. Your dosing is based off of your body composition, the way your body metabolizes things, how sensitive you are to hemp paste and other factors, your body weight, your budget, and your ailment. Depending on those four things is how much you're going to take. And we just encourage people to be their own doctor, understand how you're feeling at a certain dose, and then increase from there, decrease from there. If you're running low on funds and you can't order hemp paste for another week, then divvy it out for a week, because even just a little bit will still help you.
See how big my hand is, my ring? See how much that is?
There you go.
I've eaten that much, and I felt not a buzz, but I felt like creative. And that's a lot
I took
right
that
there.
much when I had COVID. I was taking
Yeah,
that
so
much
did
like
I.
2 times a day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you take it, you take the amount you need for whatever need you have.
Yes. We do have a video on YouTube about dosing that just gives general guidelines. This is basically the same answer I give everybody when they call in and ask questions about it. I would recommend that you go to the YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, type in hemp paste, and you'll see our channel. There's a dosing video on there. And you can share that out to people and let them know, so you don't have to keep repeating yourself over and over again. Okay, so the next thing that is, it's very common, but not a lot of people think about it. We kind of discussed it earlier when we were talking about potency, is what is the difference between the 500 milligram, 1000 milligram, and 2000 milligram jars? A lot of people think, because they've taken other CBD oils that are more concentrated, they think that this is referring to potency, how much of the actual cannabinoids they're getting. And they all come in the same amount of, or the same size of jar. But with our company, those three sizes are sizes. They're sizes of jars. So if you're getting the 500 milligram jar, it'll be a smaller jar than the 2000 milligram jar. And that's important for people to know, just because you may get asked, which one should I take? That's also based on budget. If your person is new to it and they just want to try it for 5 to 10 days, recommend the 500 milligram. But the 2000 milligram is the best for their money. So they could get 2 1000 milligram jars for $120, or they could get 1 2000 milligram jar for $100. So
It's like Costco peanut butter. You get the better deal, the bigger a jar. Hey, guess what? We got to get into questions because of people's time.
yeah,
How much? Sorry not to rush it, but
no, that we just have one short thing to go over. Thank you for keeping me on track. The next question people ask, what are the difference between the creams? The difference is that the essential oils that we mix in with the hemp paste, we mill the hemp to a finer micron in the creams than we do the paste. So they go on your skin easier and enter your skin better. So the main difference between all of our creams are the essential oils that we put in them, and we list those out in detail on the product pages. So please make yourself aware of the differences in those.
Thanks.
Does anybody else? We're opening up the floor. So if you have a question, raise your hand or unmute yourself and go ahead and start talking and ask your questions.
The dog one, do you see that?
What are the dog products, as I have a sick dog sleeping next to me? Hi, Wonder. Yeah, so we have the Canna Doggy. Brad, do you want to say what the Canna Doggy is?
So the product's identical to the hemp paste that we're all eating. We just slap a different label on it. And the reason why it's really cool is because our product is really, truly, we lucked out. It's perfect the way it is. And that's why all the jars, we don't have different strengths, any of that, because we want to always make it universal to everything. Everything is one scoop is 20 to 23 milligrams. For a dog, same scoop. Everything works out perfect, and it's always the same information, and people don't get confused on that. Somebody asked about the kitty canna. You can give it every day. It's the exact same product. The actual ingredients are good for cats. We've done research on it and talked to veterinarians and stuff like that. So you can give it every day. There was a related question somebody popped up there. The stomach problems too. See, remember that it's an anti-inflammatory. When you have inflammation, you have a lot of all these different kinds of problems. So because it's anti-inflammatory, that's the key element right there. So it definitely helps with digestion.
Okay, so Tracy's question was about decarboxylation and MCT oil additives. So he's kind of talking about the process of manufacturing hemp paste. We decarboxylate our product in the jar with all of the ingredients. So we have MCT oil, vegetable glycerin, soy-free kosher vegetable glycerin, and hemp, correct?
Yeah, 3 ingredients.
3 ingredients.
Unless it's mint.
Right. And we put all of those in the jar, and we put the lid on it to seal it and bake it low and slow, decarboxylate at about 63%. So you still get all of those cannabinoids that we talked about before. So I know a hot topic one is CBGA and CBDA. Those have been found to be preventative to the spike or to the COVID virus because they bind to the spike proteins of the virus.
Did you hear that, people? That is important. Keep going.
Our product still has those 2 cannabinoids in the product because we don't 100% decarboxylate it. We only 63%. And then on top of that, we keep the lid, we bake it with it sealed already. So none of the terpenes and nothing is evaporating from the jar, and the end user gets the full benefit of the whole genetic code of the plant.
Yes. And one of the reasons why, it was kind of a mistake in the beginning. I'll say this real fast because we got to get to the questions. It was a mistake in the beginning because I wasn't cooking it right. And then we kept sending it off to lab and but I don't want to bring the temperatures up so high. I want to preserve everything, but I wanted to convert, decarboxylate. And so that mistake ended up being a blessing because the carbolic acid, the raw of the flour, when you cook it, it knocks off the carbolic acid. And when you leave some of the carbolic acid, it helps with, like Sheila was saying about the spike proteins and all that with COVID, Ebola, SARS, and it also helps with all kinds of other things. And it creates a secondary entourage effect. They reactants to each other. So when you completely cook it like everybody does, because you're trying to get the CBD count up there so you can say, yeah, it's got 2,000 milligrams of CBD. We just say cannabinoids because that's what it is. We got all of them and they're raw and cooked and they all work together magically.
So I want to address Sam's question. If people ask about kosher certification, would we be able to provide it on the vegetable glycerin?
We should put it on the website at least.
I think it is on the website, but it doesn't link to a certification or anything. So if we have any of the people who manufacture the glycerin, if they have certification.
Yes. And I've done that before. I've sent them the label of our glycerin, the 5-gallon buckets we buy. So anybody wants that, Sheila, remember, we'll email you that and we'll put it on our website.
Better yet, email me, please, so I remember.
Yes.
Take a note, email me, and we'll get that information to you. Would it be possible to have a pop-up on our web pages to capture our customer emails, kind of like lead generation? Yes, it's possible, but you have to provide us with the coding for whatever email provider you're using. So if you're using MailChimp and you want to have a pop-up on your front end of your website, it won't be applicable to your shopping pages, but like on your homepage or anything like that, we can have a pop-up. Anything like that that are like major changes to your website are going to be $15 per hour. And I don't imagine that would take a whole hour, but just to let you guys know, we will have to bill you because we have to pay our web developer too. So anything above and beyond the customization that we first set up on your website, we do charge $15 per hour, which is like a fraction of what the industry charges for web services.
Anyways, It's a joke, really. But hey, we still put up your logo and do all that kind of stuff in your picture and all change bios and all that yada yada stuff. We'll still do that for free. But if you want any customization of things like email capture and stuff like that, that's great.
Yeah. Aaron asks, when anyone put either flavor in their coffee, would it need creamer to cover up the taste? So Aaron, are you asking about like, does it taste like hemp? If you are, I've tried the coffee and I can't taste the hemp.
Hey, people give us more feedback too. Like, is the cream too gritty? You just knock off a little bit of the hemp, that there's particles sometimes, or if the coffee needs to be, any ideas or things you have, please give us feedback.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding the coffee.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I use the coffee and I like it, but one of the things that I do is I just mix it with my favorite brand. Like I like Community Coffee. When I'm putting together pretty strong coffee, I just take my Community Coffee, then I mix in a big scoop of the Kono or the Vienna, that whatever, I think it's Kono now, is what I'm using.
We still have both, but yeah.
Right. But I think that masks the taste, because to me, I don't really like just the taste that's straight with just the coffee. It's when you add Community Coffee with it, mix it, right? And is that equivalent to a daily dose when you put that, when that's in the coffee? Like if I use a scoop of the Kono mix in with 2 scoops of my Community?
Yeah,
And,
so I actually,
my
on the
question.
bag, we say that there's 300 milligrams of hemp paste in the coffee. So divide that out by 8 ounces or scoops or whatever. And that could give you an idea of how many milligrams you're actually intaking, depending on what you consider a scoop.
Yep.
Sam asks a follow-up question on the kosher certified. Is only the vegetable glycerin kosher certified and not the MCT oil and the hemp?
I don't know about the certification, but I know that there's no soy in it or no animal product. That makes it kosher. I don't know about the certification of it. The vegetable glycerin kosher is certified. The MCT oil, I do not remember.
It's made from
but
coconut.
it's not soy. It's coconut derived.
Right. And then the hemp doesn't have any certifications because it doesn't need it.
Yeah. Julian or
Julian, yeah, if you have,
Yeah,
just
no
unmute
change.
yourself.
So on the marketing side of it, you're talking about RSO oil and how it is an alternative to RSO oil, and it's even more beneficial than RSO oil. And I was wondering if we could market it as a treatment for the symptoms of cancer as an alternative to RSO oil. Or is that something that's a touchy subject, or is it something that you've done before?
Okay, good point, good questions. And I'm going to do this really fast. The problem with that and the benefit of that is, again, you don't want to make the claim. It's basically, you're pointing out the science, like Sheila said earlier.
Well, so to answer the question, if your competition is RSO oil and you're talking specifically to cancer patients, you can talk about nausea. You can talk about appetite enhancing. You can talk about all these other like side things. You can't say it cures cancer. You can say what Brad said, it shuts the cancer cells off based on this research. So really just stay away from it cures this specific disease. Other than that,
yeah,
you're good.
Iron sharpens iron. That's what anybody has good information or correcting anything, please jump in there.
Can I make a suggestion to everybody?
Yeah.
One thing in advertising that I learned that you can get away with, and I'm not trying to get away with anything, but it gives you the latitude to make people think without making a claim. It's just by asking a question. So all you've got to do is say, looking for an alternative, you're asking a question. Looking for, another way, looking for a solution to your arthritis problems, searching for this, searching for that, want to feel better, you can ask questions, and that opens the door to, getting whatever message you're getting across without having to make a claim. So ask questions.
Or so you can ask
Thank
questions and then say, research shows that blah, blah, blah helps with that issue. And you are welcome to say that. So somebody in the comment section did kind of piggyback off that, saying the reason why you can't do that is because you'll get in trouble for practicing medicine without a license. So you'll also get us in trouble with the FTC and the FDA. So that's why we're spending so much time on that. Byron asks, has anyone studied the amount of hemp suggested to awaken the endocannabinoid system, especially in older people who may be in systems decline?
Wow, that's a heavy question.
When I first got the hemp paste, I was taking a scoop a day and I was treating it like I did, when I was back in the day. But now when I learned about the endocannabinoid system, I'm just wondering how much do I really need? Well, I'm taking more now, but how much do I really need to get my endocannabinoid system to where it should have been had we been taking hemp, all along in our lives? So that's what I want to know.
Gotcha. Well, and that's partly due to the newness, the novelty of the system. It hasn't been studied longer than 30 years, which there's a lot to the system. So we're learning things every day. I know Patty is reaching out to you right now saying that she has some articles that would be helpful to that conversation as well. One thing that kind of goes for everyone that we always want to tell you this: you are your own doctor. You're the one that knows how you feel. So if you feel like the one scoop wasn't actually getting your body to the place it needed to, you're not seeing results from, it's always working. No matter what dosage you're taking, it's always working. It's getting into your system one way or another and helping behind the scenes, whether you feel a difference or not. If you're not seeing any improvement in any of those types of symptoms, we always recommend upping the dose. Little by little is what Brad's saying. So increase your dose one scoop per day. And you can do that by taking hemp paste, which is the most cost-effective way to do it. Or you can also supplement, like Joe was saying, take your hemp paste and then have a cup of coffee that has hemp in it. Take a few bites of chocolate. You can spread out your doses in different types of products throughout the day. So you're not just relying on hemp paste. If you don't want to, you can kind of get creative with it. But basically, you need to really evaluate how you're feeling as a person. Are there any travel restrictions?
No,
no.
As long as you're not flying out of the country, and it depends on their laws.
Mm-hmm.
That earlier question is similar to, if you have a well, can you predict how long it's going to take you to prime the pump before the water comes out?
Mm-hmm.
Point is, we just keep priming the pump and just keep taking it and encouraging other people to keep taking until they start feeling the differences, basically.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. And that's why we say also increase the dose based on how you're feeling. If you're gradually increasing the dose and you're not just staying at one dosage, then you're more likely to feel a difference faster.
Okay, so I created this diagrams called the X factor. So the X factor, the line going up is accumulation. The line going down is decrease of inflammation. The marker points are 1.5 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. 1.5 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. Up to 90 days, 3 months. If you do not notice a difference, some people keep getting more benefits after that. But if you do not notice any improvement, it really does help in different ways. You just might not be seeing it in the area that you're praying for or hoping for. But those are your marker points. And so you see bigger results, again, because your inflammation is decreasing and you're accumulating to the maximum of 90 days.
Kim says, in regards to traveling, her husband has been to 3 different airports and travels with happy packets and never has had a problem. So
Yeah.
affirmation there, confirmation there. So
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to ask about pets because that's a huge issue, with pets. So when you're doing like the can of kitty, it has olive oil instead of the MCT, and that's specific because they probably don't handle the MCT oil as well as olive oil. Is that correct?
Guess what? Great question. I had people telling me that, and we changed our recipe. And then I did more research and I called up the different people and I was looking all over the place. And it comes down to coconut oil is actually the amount that they eat with the product is great. No problem whatsoever. So MCT, coconut oil, same.
but as far
Right.
as dosing, Ingrid, there is research that shows that it's the same with humans as it is with animals. Start at a smaller dose. And for animals, especially depending on weight, we're talking 20 milligrams, which is 1 scoop, maybe way more than that animal needs. So if you're talking about an 8-pound dog, you're going to want to use a tiny amount.
Size of a grain.
Yeah, a tiny
Right.
amount to start off and
Right.
mix it with their food or whatever, and then increase and see how it goes. Same
Right,
with
I
humans.
inherited a 19-pound cat, so
Oh.
it's a huge.
So
Give
I
it out
have a
now.
question regarding if we were wanting to create a podcast or a video show, for example, just using Zoom. I would like to know, Ingrid, it sounds like you might be a good person that could be interviewed. I know Brad and Sheila probably would be, but to me, that's another thing, creating your own Zoom program that you can record and then distribute through some, either Brighteon or some different type of platform where you can actually get it put up and try to promote it that way. What have you done, Ingrid, with your promotion of your show, and how many listeners do you have?
Well, I don't even know.
We do. Wait.
I mean, all I know is that I'm always blown away that have people that tune in.
Ingrid, would you say that the advertising to get listeners to go to the show, do you do any outside advertising to get them to watch your show? Or
To your question about advertising,
Yeah,
I
go
do
ahead.
advertise my show, but I did have an ad in a local brand new paper. Just
So do you currently run ads for your show?
And no, I don't. I mean, I just I advertise it through my vaccination liberation website primarily, and all my invoices and word of mouth,
Perfect.
because I do have a huge network.
Ingrid does have a website that covers all of the things that she represents. So she does work on multiple things besides the network and Hemp Paste. And she's really put herself in a position of expertise within the holistic wellness world. And people come to her, like I'm trying to get you guys to be, people come to her for information they can trust because she's built that over years. And that's what we're trying to get you to do in regards to Hemp Paste as well.
And on a positive note, you might not have a radio show or anything like that. There's a lot of different avenues that you can go down, and that's what we're trying to prepare more. We've really upped our game, everybody. Sheila's amazing, and then we have different people that are joining in there, including you guys, to really bring great materials for everybody to use.
Right. And so, like Brad said, you don't have to have a radio show. Some of these things that are being put into place can be used with daily conversations too. You can be a huge influence to your neighbor. I do want to wish you all well, and I want you to help each other grow. I want to help you guys grow. The whole point of growing this business is to ultimately spread the goodness of what nature can do and help people be whole beings again, help them feel better. When you feel better, you are better, you treat others better, you just go through life with a different view. And that's what we want to do for people, because we have the resources, we just need to educate them. So any feedback you guys have, anything that you want us to go over in future trainings, or things that we're lacking that you need, anything like that, we are 100% here for you. And I will work on the things that you've given to me in this training. And I hope that you guys would take the things that we've given to you in this training and take them, run with them, and build your networks. Help more people.
Help. It does.
So, all right, guys, I'm going to end the meeting. I wish you all a great rest of your day.
All right, you guys, take care, buddy.
Yeah, God bless everyone. Thank you.
God bless.
Well, thank you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
No.